FT857 Northeast Texas. Receiving him about a 4x2. I report 5'4", and I'm mobile. I have a well-tuned antenna. He's using an end-fed. W7 SJV in Texas, end-fed. I'm operating a perfectly tuned mobile antenna. Absolutely no SWR. My signal report was significantly better and more stable with a mobile antenna that's correctly tuned. But anyway, the point of this video is to show you the KBYP mobile ham shack in senior truck, Ford F250, and a fairly difficult mobile installation. It was fairly obvious that there's no drilling holes through this panel. There's electronics behind it. I went to Ford and asked, and they said, yes, don't drill through the panel because there are electronics right behind it. So the trick to that was to get a piece of vinyl siding, bend it over, and stick it with Gorilla Tape to a flat surface on the dash, and then put Velcro, and it works beautifully. Just pull the control head. It comes off. It's got room to bounce with the road. It's not in the sunlight. Above there's an old Motorola communication speaker. It works reasonably well. It's for two-way radio. The control cable for the ASU control head goes down underneath the passenger seat, underneath the carpet. And there's a Brown Brothers paddle, which I just had to loosen up for having an odd angle. So I was making some mistakes at 30 words a minute, but hey, 30 words per minute mobile is quite an accomplishment. And there is the truck with the antenna with multiple tips. Back here through the rear passenger door, there is the ASU rig mounted on a PVC plastic plate that is fastened with 2/4 inch bolts and nuts to the seat brackets. The first thing to do in a mobile installation is make sure if that radio cannot come loose in an accident and hit you upside the head and kill you dead. I don't like having radio equipment up in the front along a plane where if there's a rollover it can flip around and hit the occupants. There just happens to be a 120 volt 300 watt power inverter back here. The big red wire is a 60 amp fused line from under hood. It's a factory line. So I tapped into that by skinning back the insulation on the wire into the inverter, connecting, soldering a ring terminal to the wire, covering it over with the yellow ring terminal barrel, and then folding the ring terminal and screwing it down with a small number 10 stainless screw, and then connecting the wire to the radio power to that. So in theory, there's almost no modification to the factory wiring. I certainly didn't get down in this cable tray down here. There's a cable tray that runs along the kick plates here. I didn't want to run new wiring. These newer vehicles are all computer controlled, and we got to be careful where we add wiring and draw current, because it can cause RFI problems. This works beautifully, and the 60 amp circuit is far more than enough to handle that radio, which will go 20 or 25 amp if it's turned up. I've got it turned down now, back down to 100 watts, because conditions are picking up and I really don't need it. Got the SO239 coming in and the key coming in on the other side. Might not be able to see it, but that's where the control cable and the microphone plug in the ASU. With the jump seat down, it all disappears. Coax coming back along the bed cover to the IDENTIFIER it's just very long. If it's standing up vertically, it'll hit all kinds of objects. It's about 13 feet high when it's standing vertically. The trick to this antenna is make a stainless steel plate to mount it on, clamp it to the bedside. This improves the tuning, gives it a ground plane, and a couple of clamps to clamp it down. Also had to make a plate with a 2x2 as a mount to hold it. That makes a tremendous difference. The thing's not back here flailing around violently in the wind when the semis pass. And then the 3 tips, including the tip for the CB radio band, which, sorry, I just couldn't resist. Got to mess with the truckers. But it's, I didn't tell you this, but it's wide banded. So, be able to blow their doors off. So there's KBYP Mobile. And there's XIL with Kitty. So, reporting live from western Iowa, where it's right now currently colder than the well diggers behind. It's KBYP.